True crime cowboy. True crime cowboy.
Happy Monday, people. Very rainy Monday here. I think that we're starting to get some of that. Well, they've been talking about this cyclone bomb that's been hitting the West Coast and mostly affecting California, also parts of Southern Oregon. And but it's been raining cats and dogs all day. Off and on. It's been going really steady for about the last 2 hours. So I actually kind of like the sound of it. I really don't mind rain all that much. It's not that bad. So I'm not going to complain too much. At least it's not snow. I think what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to record this video in segments so I can make sure and check the audio without doing the whole thing. And we have a couple of other video clips that I need to show you in this video. Anyway, so hopefully you can hear me better than the last one that I did, because I was really super disappointed with that, but I didn't have time to go in and redo it. But anyway, today we're going to be talking about another 16-year-old in Placer County by the name of Dante De La Torre, who went missing on December 7th. He left school, at least that's what the reports say, that he left school around 12:30 p.m. and drove out to Gold Run rest area, which is about 10 miles or so from Colfax, California, where he was going to Colfax High School. Drove out there to get some soil samples. The cops say that he had some water bottles, a towel, and a shovel with him. Went out to collect some soil samples. Some people have asked the question, what was he doing away from school? Well, I would say he's probably out there during lunch. He left the school at 12:30. I know I used to leave to go somewhere for lunch all the time when I was in high school, so I don't find that unusual at all. But he decided to use his time to do something productive and go out and get these soil samples. He was in this special program, and although they didn't say what it was, I kind of have the feeling that he was interested in forestry or something, at least, because he was doing the soil samples for a school project. Anyway, this young man, who you see here, left school, go out to get these samples, and then parked his vehicle in the parking lot there at Gold Run Rest Area and went missing. And then he was found, after a search was done, he was found out in the woods, deceased. And of course, since it's either Placer County or Nevada County, it seems that regardless of what happens, there's never any foul play. The cops came out and said that there was no foul play. But it also says that the cause of death hasn't been determined, and he was being sent to the medical examiner's office for an autopsy so they can determine cause of death. Now, logic dictates that you don't come out and say there was no foul play when you don't even know the cause of death. Don't you need to know the cause of death before you can say that there's no foul play? But just automatically, oh, there's no foul play involved. And I call total BS on that. We'll take a closer look at this young man. And he was, from everything that I've read and heard, he was an outstanding young man. An outstanding young man. All right, there's a couple of video clips that I do want to show you. They're from two different news agencies in the area. And I want to watch those, and then we'll get back to talking about what happened to Dante.
It's really unfortunate and really sad.
A tragic turn in the search for a missing teenager. The Placer County Sheriff's Office says 16-year-old Dante De La Torre was found dead Thursday afternoon in a remote wooded area near the Gold Run rest stop off I-80. Investigators do not believe there was any foul play. Deputies say Dante came to the rest stop just after noon Wednesday to get soil samples for a school project. Investigators found the teen's car there, and several search crews looked for Dante for hours, including wilderness survival experts and police canines trained to pick up on scents. Those stopping by the rest area are sharing their condolences.
Our thoughts and prayers are with their family, the loved ones, anyone who knew him, because I just couldn't imagine going through that, especially before the holidays. So our hearts are definitely with them.
Dante was a junior at Colfax High School in the International Baccalaureate program. He was also on the soccer team. Friends of his who did not want to go on camera tell us Dante was well loved by many on campus. Parents of his classmates have a message for his family.
I would say gather with the folks they know, their community, and hold tight.
There are still a lot of unanswered questions, including why Dante was let out of school for the project and why he was alone.
Please just always be aware of your surroundings and you know, again, just make sure you have someone around, someone who can call.
Dante's car, which is still here at the rest stop, is a sad reminder of the life that was lost. The sheriff's office says he'll be taken to the coroner for an examination. Reporting in Placer County, Orkamana, KCRA 3 News.
Colfax High School and the Placer Union High School District sent out a statement tonight saying they are keeping Dante's family in their thoughts. They also say chaplains and counselors will be on campus to provide support to students and staff during this difficult time.
Several dozen friends, classmates, and people from the community gathered here at the Gold Run Rest area in Placer County in memory of Dante De La Torre. After a day-long search, the 16-year-old Colfax High School student was found dead in the wooded area off the rest area Thursday evening. The Candlelight Vigil was a chance for people who knew Dante or know his family to come together in their grief and lean on one another. Now, we had a chance to speak with longtime friends and more recent friends of his who shared their memories of Dante and gave us a glimpse into the kind of teenager he was and what he meant to them. We also learned Dante was a leader of the student section for his school, often front and center, getting his classmates engaged in school spirit.
Behind the scenes, he is a hardworking kid, a loving kid. He worked so hard in leadership to just make other people happy and other people feel special and put other people in the spotlight. He's such a selfless guy. And then when we were in the spotlight running the show, he was always had a smile on his face. He was always the, he was just such a joyful kid. And
always made everyone laugh. He was always, he was more about the community than about, like,
he took care of everybody else besides himself. Yeah, he was there for everybody. He loved everybody. He was one of the most kindest souls I've ever met.
It is very important that the kids have this time together, that they have this bond of grief, and that they feel free to share that with each other.
And the vigil lasted for about an hour or so before people left. Reporting from Placer County, Melanie Wingo, KCRA 3 News.
We contacted the Placer County Sheriff's Department tonight to see if investigators are shedding any light on exactly how Dante died. They say they have ruled out foul play, but it's going to be up to the coroner's office to release his exact cause of death.
Okay, so who was Dante De La Torre? As I said, he was 16 years old. He was enrolled in a special international program, which is it's a program that only certain schools are accredited to teach. We call it International Baccalaureate Program is what it's called. To where they integrate a student's interests in a career field with the curriculum that's being taught. That's why I was thinking that he might have been interested in forestry or some other type of technology that involves gathering soil samples. To me, that speaks of a forestry type career. He was originally from Auburn, Alabama, and I don't know if the program is why his family moved to California. I haven't really read anything. Maybe some of you in the area know more than I do about him. But he was also on the school soccer team. And like I said, from what other people have said about him, he was just a fantastic kid. We see this post on Facebook from the Placer County Sheriff's Office. And it says, "It is with a heavy heart that we are updating the community that 16-year-old Dante De La Torre was found deceased this afternoon in a remote wooded area near the Gold Run rest stop." So this is on December 8th, so apparently he was found the next day because he went missing on the 7th. Okay, right off the bat, there is no indication Dante's death was foul play. Dante will be taken to the coroner's unit to undergo an examination. We offer our condolences to the De La Torre family and Dante's friends during this unbelievably tragic time. All right, so here we see. He hasn't even been taken to the coroner's unit yet. He hasn't been sent to the medical examiner for an autopsy, but they're already saying there's no indication that there was foul play. How can you say that? I mean, that's quite an assumption. Also, they have set up a GoFundMe for the family, which, as you can see, they've collected quite a bit more money than the last family that we looked at, who had only had a goal of $10,000 and had only collected a little over $3,000 as of yesterday. It's gone up a little bit, and those of you who have contributed to Sion Carroll's GoFundMe, it's much appreciated. This particular GoFundMe has already raised over $36,000, going on 37. Their goal is 40. What it does say is that they are going to take the proceeds and donate it to charitable causes in Dante's name. Which, really, you know, that's actually pretty admirable. You know, apparently the family doesn't really need the money. Somebody set it up for them, but they're going to turn around and donate it to charitable causes. Now, as we recall, there was some statement made by Lindsay in Kylie's case where she said she was going to do that, but we know that was horse crap. It never happened. All right, this young man went to Colfax High School, and we can see that it's about, depending on which way you go, it's roughly around 10 miles, because I'm assuming that he went to the eastbound rest area, because if he'd be going he left the school, hit I-80, went up I-80, And keep in mind, I-80 is a very busy corridor. It runs through Reno and goes down and hits Interstate 5 in California, which is so both of these, both I-5 and I-80, as we've talked about in other videos I've done, are very busy main arteries. All right, so you've got a lot of different kinds of people traveling up and down I-80. So I'm assuming, I didn't say which rest area you went to, but I'm thinking this has to be the eastbound one, because coming from Colfax, he would be hitting the rest area on that side of the freeway going towards Reno. All right, so we see it's roughly about 10 miles. Now, just to kind of give you an idea of the geography, here we see it's a little over 52 miles from Colfax to Truckee. All right, and if you keep going past Truckee, you end up in Reno. All right, so it's in the same general area, but it's, it says an hour and 10 minutes away. It's also very close to Auburn. Not that far from Auburn. All right, and as we know, Auburn's kind of a rough area. It's a very high crime area. There's a lot of stuff that goes on there. And it's just right up the freeway, going from Auburn, going to Colfax, and then hitting the Gold Run Rest area 10 miles up the road from Colfax. All right, so this kind of gives you an idea of the geography there. Now, the next thing I want to look at is just some, I guess you call them sky views. And this is just satellite images taken from Google Maps. All right, you see the furthest location marker to the right. That is the rest area on that side of the freeway. The markers on the other side would be if you're going the other direction. But since he was coming from Colfax, heading north or east, it's actually considered eastbound, but you're going northeast, I guess. That shows you where that dot is. It shows you right where that rest area is. Okay. Now the next shot is just a closer up image. You see where the rest area is. And Dante parked in the parking lot. I'm not quite sure where, but it was right in front of the rest area somewhere. And his car's still there as far as I know while they're investigating this. But that is the rest area. You see, they say it's a wooded area, but it doesn't look heavily wooded. It's got some paths. And, okay, as we look at the next shot, it's a little further out. That shows you the general layout of the area. There's a road that runs behind it. It's wooded, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's heavily wooded. I really wouldn't. That kind of gives you the general idea of what it's like there. Okay, and then the next shot, what it shows here is you see the location marker where the rest area is. And then there's a road, and there's also some secondary, dirt roads and stuff like that. So I don't think he'd have to be trudging through the trees a whole lot. Now, some of you that maybe are more familiar with this area, and I don't know where he was found. It says he was found in the woods behind the rest area. So I don't know how far he traveled, but you see going from, and this is, of course, as the crow flies, so it's going to be a little bit different walking there, but going from the back of the rest area to this road is less than a half a mile. So if he's just going to get some soil samples, and of course, if he's getting samples, plural, he's probably going to go to several different areas to try to get different types of soil samples, different areas. All right, and they did say that the temperatures got below freezing during the night, but that doesn't make any sense to me. If he's just going there now the very fact that he went there during the lunch hour suggests to me that he went there to get some soil samples and then was going to be done, get back in his car and leave. I don't think he planned on wandering too far off, especially if it was that cold, but this is during the day. It got below freezing overnight, but during the day, it wasn't, according to the reports. And this is, during the lunch hour when he's going to get these samples. And so it doesn't make any sense to me that he would have died from hypothermia, because he would have been, the only thing is if, like, say he would have fallen from somewhere or fallen down a cliff or something like that and broke his leg or something. But you would think that the Placer County Sheriff's Office would mention that. There would be something like that on one of the news reports. But there isn't. It was just that he was found deceased in the woods. So that opens up a whole can of worms as to what might have happened. But to say that there was no foul play involved, to me, is complete idiocy. Because, of course, we can't report it as a murder, especially on a main artery like this, where so many people are traveling through. What kind of effect would that have on the area as far as the reputation? But it's just like in Kylie's case, you never get me to believe that this was accidental or that there was no foul play involved. It just makes absolutely no sense. And I really hope that Placer County is just saying that because to just sweep this under the carpet like this, another 16-year-old. What is it with 16-year-olds in that area? I mean, seriously. What is it with the 16-year-olds? That's 3 in how long? Kylie? And then the other red-headed girl, which name completely slipped my mind, and I don't know why. I know it starts with a T. No, I feel terrible. I can't even think. I want to say Tiffany, but that's not it. I can't believe it just like a little bird just flew off. But you know who I'm talking about. The one they found in the woods behind the house back in there. Oh, my word. I can't think of her name. I apologize. I'm focused on this, I guess. I don't know. But sometimes that happens. Sometimes I forget people's names that I've known for years. And I go to call them by their name, and I'm like, I can't think of it. I guess that's what happens when you get old, right? All right. Next thing I want to show is that, they're talking about, it's like really rough terrain. It is not that rough a terrain. Now, some of you that live there, maybe you can correct me on this, but it does not look that rough. All right, here is a terrain map of that area. Okay, it's, there is a little bit of a drop off going down to the river there. And don't know if he was going that far. But again, if he would have fallen and was injured by a fall, you would think that one of the news reports or something that Placer County Sheriff's Office talked about would mention that. But there's a road right here, like a main road going back behind the rest area. That's before you get to the really steep part. And of course, by the time you get down to that steep part, you're not really in the woods. All right, if you go back and look, you've got some woods, but they said it is in the woods behind the rest area. So I'm thinking it's before that road. Again, they don't say where exactly that they found him, but I'm just guessing here, and I could be totally wrong. But I'm just thinking with that road there, and the fact that they said he was found in the woods behind, in a wooded area behind the rest area, would be between that marker and that road. That print is so small that Canyon Creek Road or Canyon something? Canyon Creek Road, I think, is the... Yeah, because that's Canyon Creek. That's the river down there, Canyon Creek and the Canyon Creek Road. So, since it is a canyon, it'd be very easy to fall and get hurt. But, I really wish, if that's what happened, that they would have said that in their report, or the news would have reported that. Of course, they can't report it if Placer County doesn't tell them. But it really doesn't look super, super bad. Now, compare that terrain. Now, here's the terrain map for Prosser Creek Reservoir. Very, very mountainous area. Okay, now this kind of area, and even then, if you look at the videos taken there, it's not super, super bad. So I just can't see that area around Gold Run, rest areas, being all that hard to traverse. Okay, the next shot is a terrain map around Boca. The mountains and stuff and elevations around there. I mean, now that is... quite a bit different. It's not even in the same ballpark as the terrain around Gold Run rest area. All right, I even took a shot of the area that I live. Even it looks a lot worse and more mountainous than that is. And this area isn't that bad. I mean, we used to run all over the place and ride our bikes on it. You see all those east of town there, all the tan area. It's all bunch of hills, and it's not. I wouldn't really call them mountains. It's not, because we used to ride our bikes up there, and we used to go right around in here in that first, where you see that first big hole or long, God, I don't even know what you call it. But anyway, we used to actually jump off that down into the sand and the dirt. We used to jump off that all the time. Used to get in trouble too. But only when we got caught. But I'm looking at this and I'm going, okay, if it's that bad here, and it's not bad at all, then I just don't think that area right back in the woods behind there would be a kind of an area that would be that hard to traverse and would be that easy to, fall down and get hurt. My gut feeling is something happened. Because he was going there to collect a few samples. Okay, and I think it's probably a 99.99999% chance that this wasn't suicide. I mean, this kid had no problems. This kid was well liked in school. He was popular. Everybody talks about, well, you saw the news clips. Everybody talks about what a great kid this kid was. How he would go out of his way to help anybody. He was smart. He was in a special program. He obviously had a career path that he was studying toward. And again, it's a shame that these kids have a dream like that and they're not able to live long enough to fulfill them. And so I just wanted to bring him. I've had a couple of people mention him to me, asking if I'd look into it, and I plan to look into it more, as I am with Sion's case as well. It just makes me feel bad. This poor kid. I don't know what happened to him, but I sure hope Placer County doesn't try to sweep this under the rug like they've done so many. It wouldn't be fair to the family, and it certainly wouldn't be fair to Dante. I just don't see him going back there and getting lost. I mean, it'd be almost be impossible. You got so many roads and then another main road going through there. I don't see him getting lost and ended up dying of hypothermia. That just makes no sense to me. He wasn't planning on being there that long. I mean, he took some water, but he didn't even take any food. They said he had a towel, some water bottles, and of course he could have been using those water bottles. I don't know if the water bottles were even full of water. They may have been that he took those to put the dirt samples in. That's probably more likely than drinking water. So he wasn't planning on being gone that long. I think he was trying to get it done during lunch, and I don't know if he had afternoon classes, but if he did, that's probably he was going to get back to them once he got done. So anyway, I just wanted to bring this to your attention. I think it's important that the public knows about this and that YouTube starts knowing about this. Because after what we've seen over in that area, and how they try to call everything an accident or a suicide or something along that lines, when obviously there's plenty of evidence that they weren't. Here's another one, people, that we just cannot let slide. We need to hold them accountable, just like we're attempting to do with Kylie. All right, I don't know. You probably can't hear the rain hitting, but I don't think the mic could pick that up. But boy, it is just really coming down. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get this processed and, spread the word about this kid. We need to get him justice too. All right. Well, oh yeah, and by the way, I'm really rooting for TCU tonight to beat Georgia. So those, I always go for the underdog unless it's like a favorite team of mine. And I like Georgia, but I would really love to see TCU beat them. That would be so cool. I don't think it's going to happen, but anyway, but you never know. All right, peeps. people, my peeps. We'll talk to you later.
True